Hey folks, I've been asked to do a few quick little videos to help explain our situation first. So we're going to start off between the difference between law and legislation. Now, law is the law of the land, and legislation is written law created by men or women. So to do that, we need to understand who we are, first of all. Now, here I've got Mary Jane. Now, Mary Jane was born of the family Smith. So Mary Jane writes her name in lowercase letters. Mary, sometimes hyphen Jane, would be written that way. Now, when Mary was born on the land, and let's say she was born here in Australia, Australia, of course, is not Australia. The land is Terra Australis. And the reason it's Terra Australis is because when the corporate English arrived here, they discovered there were people living here, what we call our Koori Nation. So therefore they couldn't claim the land as terra nullius, unoccupied, because it was already occupied. So it is known as Terra Australis. So what is Australia? Well, Australia is actually Norfolk Island and one of the other islands there that was unoccupied. So they claimed that as Australia, and the Commonwealth of Australia is based there. So what exists on Terra Australis is the law of the land. And Mary Jane here has all sorts of rights, inalienable rights, that no one can take away from her. So how does this government created on Australia, on Norfolk Island, have control over us? Well, it's very, very clever. So it told us all that we have to register our birth. So because we were told we had to do that, our parents dutifully complied. And in doing that, the government created Mary Jane Smith. Now, Mary Jane Smith only exists on paper. She's not real. She only exists on paper. So poor old Mary Jane here, she got shanghaied. She got taken aboard the maritime law and taken out into the ocean where they could have complete control over her. And they kept telling you from your birth certificate, get a driver's license. Oh, and they used Mary Jane Smith. And get a bank balance, Mary Jane Smith. Everything. Get a house, Mary Jane Smith. So everything that you think you are is Mary Jane Smith. The government has no authority on the land. It's maritime law, contract law, but they shanghaied you off into the ocean where they can control you through maritime law. So how do you get back from being Mary Jane Smith to here, to Mary Jane of the family Smith? You've got to get back from the ocean. And when you were in the ocean, they said, well, Mary Jane, she's gone. She's dead at sea. She's lost at sea. So we'll deem her to be dead. But of course, if on the off chance she comes back to life and she comes back, well, she can reclaim everything that she is. But that's not going to be likely because we're going to keep her believing that she is Mary Jane Smith, the piece of paper. See, their legal world only exists on paper. It does not exist in the real world that you and I live in. So they deceive you into coming in to live in the world of paper. So we have to come back from that. You have to reclaim your status as a living man or woman. And once you do that, you actually become fully the benefit of this trustee account that they created. So you're the principal of this and the beneficiary of this. They don't like that. So the first thing you have to do is become a living man or woman. And to do that, register that you are a living man or woman with a common law court, first and foremost.